You are live.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'd like to call the virtual meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Elections to order. It's July 15th, 2021. And if I could get roll call, Eileen Leahy present.
Veronica Fee, member, present.
Regina Watkins Elders, City Clerk, present.
Susan Eckert, Elections Administrative Assistant, present.
All right. Well, hopefully Ashley will be able to join us. And we do have some public testimony tonight. So our next agenda item is public testimony, and I'm going to bring up the letters and the comments that we've gotten through the web forms. For comments on elections, we have gotten a comment from David Frankel, 929 King James Landing Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403, who is a city resident. We've also had a number of comments on elections. I believe there's 23 or 24 comments, but 16 total individual submitters. And four are unknown. They either were anonymous or the names or addresses were not decipherable. So I'm going to read that list. Monica Matthew, 11 Dorset Court, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. She is a city resident. Suzanne Duffy, 17 King Court, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. She is a city resident. Cindy Cole, 514 Chesapeake Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. She is a city resident. The remainders of these are county residents and not city residents. Frank D. Traglia, P.O. Box 333, West River, Maryland, 20778. Edward Burlett of 924 Pine Trail, Arnold, Maryland, 21012. Peggy Williams, 103 Wilshire Lane, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146. Cynthia Belkoff, 2118 Chesapeake Harbor Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. Linda Callaghan, 107 Wilshire Lane, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146, county resident. Mary Phelps, 210 3rd Avenue Southeast, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21061. Robin Circle, 1312 Edna Drive, Pasadena, Maryland, 21122. Michael Vernon, who sent through an email, mmjvernon@verizon.net. Jeremy Washington, 8370 Francho Harbor, Pasadena, Maryland, 21122. We had one anonymous, which had a return address, which was within the city. And then we had one, the name and the address were not discernible. Then we had another that had a name that wasn't discernible, but the address was 117 Edgemere Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. And then we had another one that the name was not discernible and there was no address given. These also include letters that were sent to the Anne Arundel County Board of Elections that were forwarded to us. And there was, I think, duplicates for at least 6 of them. We now have live testimony for public testimony. So Mr. Frankel, Mr. Hildebrand, if you could put Mr. Frankel on. And Mr. Frankel, you have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind. I think you're muted.
I don't know if he's muted for everyone else, but he is for me.
He is muted.
You're muted, Mr. Frankel.
All right, I'm unmuted now. I thought that was under your control.
Nope. So we'll restart your 3 minutes.
Okay, can I get an extra 30 seconds so I don't have to read this too quickly?
Well, let's see where you are at 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll read quick. Thank you. I have been certified by the Board of Supervisors of Elections as a candidate for the Annapolis Democratic Central Committee Ward 7 seat. At this time, I wish to offer the following comments. 1, I applaud the board's decision to mail ballots to all registered voters. I request the board to include in those envelopes the biographies that each candidate has submitted. Candidate bios are posted on the city clerk's official election website and should be included with the mail-in ballot envelopes to help ensure an educated electorate. It is insensitive for the board to ask candidates to pay for their own mailers just to provide the bios. The cost for a candidate to send out a mailer with the bio is almost $1. The cost for the board to include the bio is nominal, close to a penny. So the cost to each candidate would be around $5,000, while the cost to the board would be under $50. Please think about this carefully and the impact on candidates who are not financially privileged. 2, the board should express its displeasure that the Annapolis Democratic Central Committee is violating its own bylaws to close its meetings to the public. That closure benefits ADCC members who file certificates of candidacy and tilts the playing field because it gives those members exclusive access to important information, tactics, strategies, volunteers, and financial resources. By contrast, the Annapolis Republican Central Committee meetings are open. 3, I note that the board is preparing a candidate handbook. The mail-in balloting will encourage ballot harvesting. I request that the handbook have a chapter that includes the do's and don'ts for ballot harvesting in plain English. Candidates following those guidelines should be afforded a safe harbor for related campaign law violations. 4, 149 out of 152 Maryland municipalities conduct elections that are nonpartisan. Mayor Buckley has stated that he supports nonpartisan elections. The board should take every opportunity to lead Annapolis in that direction. Democrats have nothing to fear from this. Annapolis is a heavily Democratic city and will always win every election in Annapolis, almost every. Lastly, Code Section 4.28.010 provides that a registered voter may vote by mail ballot, also known as an absentee ballot. The voter must first apply for the ballot. Not until the application is received can the board provide by mail or other means an absentee ballot to the voter entitled to the ballot. I am aware of Council Resolution R3820. That, however, does not change the law and only authorizes the board to contract with the county to, quote, provide for the option of voting by mail, close quote. That does not authorize the board to ignore or modify the provisions for mail voting that are established in Section 42801. Madam Chair, may I ask a process question?
We're not taking questions and answers, and I've given you an extra minute, believe it or not. So, but your input has been.
I'll put it as a comment.
Okay.
My question would be, has the board obtained a written opinion from the city attorney advising on whether the city code may be or must be amended to authorize the plan to mail ballots to all registered voters? And that would conclude all my comments. And thank you for the extra time.
Okay, well, we appreciate your interest in the work of the Board of Elections, and we'll take your, we are familiar with your other testimony that you've submitted online. We have reviewed it, and we will certainly take it under consideration. So thank you for being with us this evening.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. And you're welcome to stay on as an observer if you like. All right, next order of business is the approval of minutes for June 17th, 2021.
I didn't have any comments, so unless you do, I'm happy to do a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor? Approved. All right, and then minutes, approval of minutes for June 25th, 2021.
Same thing, no comments on my end, so motion to approve is for those minutes as well.
Okay, and I also reviewed them. Second, and then all in favor? Aye. All right, we have two certificates of candidacy. The first one on the docket is Sheila M. Finlayson, who is filing for Alderwoman of Ward 4. I've reviewed the paperwork and it appears to be complete.
Second that as well. I took another review of it this afternoon. Motion to approve the certificate of candidacy for Alderwoman Finley.
All right, I second. All in favor? Aye. Second is certificate of candidacy, Michael L. Dye, filing for Annapolis Republican Central Committee, Ward 3. Mr. Dye, I know you're in on this meeting. Is there anything you'd like to ask or say?
Can you hear me now?
We can.
No, I didn't have any questions, just was going to be watching the meeting anyways. And
Okay.
so I'm going to
All
hang
right,
out.
well, it's welcome at our meetings.
Yes, thank you.
So, all right, so I've reviewed the paperwork. It looks fine.
Concur as well. Again, took another look this afternoon. So motion to approve the Michael Dye's candidacy as well.
All right, and I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. So those are the only two we have tonight. I believe there is another one submitted today. The deadline for filing certificates of candidacy is Monday, July 26th, and I believe it's 9 p.m. So we have a lot of openings, particularly on the central committees that haven't been filed. So it would be great if we got them sooner rather than later, because we do want to make sure that we get them reviewed and approved on the 26th so that we can get them out to get the ballots started. Next order of business is an update from the chair. I just wanted to go through the resignation of Clifford Myers from the Board of Supervisors of Elections. Mr. Myers, a few weeks ago, moved out of the city of Annapolis over to the county, not very far away. But because he did move out of the city, he did need to resign his position. I served with Cliff for the past 7 years, and he served with a lot of integrity and commitment. And I think I can speak for Brianna that we worked as a good team together, and he will be missed. So I know that according to the charter, the city council is to immediately appoint someone to the vacancy. I know that they are looking at candidates, and I believe the ARCC has submitted someone, and we'll be looking to get that filled, and we'll look forward to working with our new colleague and getting them up to speed. Anything you want to add, Brianna, Regina, Susan?
No, not on my end. Just kind of wish he could have stayed through the whole through the election season, but I think you mentioned before, he'll at least be an election judge, so I guess
Yes.
I'll take that instead.
That'll be good. That'll be good. Next order of business is the municipal election preparation plan. We reviewed that last month, and I think we still had a couple of areas to fill in. Most of the changes were made, but I think it was mostly just getting some cell phone numbers on one of the contact lists.
Yes,
Okay, so that's being done.
yes. Some of the contact numbers we can't fill in until the chief, assigns the officer to our elections, and that won't be done until September because their duty rosters aren't ready for that.
Okay. I did review it, and I did notice that they had made the changes in regard to COVID. Also, the organizational chart and all the other things that we had recommended had been done. So I think we're good to go on that.
Yes, we did forward that information to the county so that they can add it to our judge's manual as the last couple of pages.
Regina, do you need us to actually approve it tonight, or?
Well,
It's like a form.
it's already sent, so you can to be official, sure.
Okay, well, Brianna, you want to make a motion? I mean, the only thing missing are the phone numbers, and we have to wait on those.
Yeah,
Motion to approve the OEM plan, pending the pertinent contact information.
All right, I'll second. All in favor? All right, so moved. Next order of business, I just wanted to give a quick recap of the work session review that I attended with the city council today. Joe Torrey and David Garris of the Anne Arundel County State Board of Elections were there also. I thought it was a good meeting. We got a lot of questions. I think a lot of clarification was brought about with the meeting. A lot of good questions, and I think we were able to answer them all. If not, we will get back to them. I know that one of the questions that had come up with one of the aldermen earlier was in regards to absentee ballots. The city code is broad in terms of ballots, and so it encompasses many ballots. The mail-in ballots are a paper ballot, and so they are included in the current legislation. And so in talking with Office of Law, they are okay. And so I see, Ashley, you're on the call if you want to expand on that at all, but I know it is a question that has come up.
So my position is that mail-in ballots that are being sent by the city are not the same thing as an absentee ballot. An absentee ballot is something that individual voters request for a variety of different reasons that we then, the board would then review, approve, and send out. Mail-in ballots are just a new type of technology or way to process ballots, no different than in person or the drop-off boxes. So from my legal perspective, a mail-in ballot that the city is unilaterally deciding to give to all registered voters to their address is not the same thing as an absentee ballot. And there is a provision in the code that says that when we delegate over to the county, we can use any of their technologies or procedures for how to run the election. And I would believe that that's broad enough to cover this.
Right. And actually somebody asked Joe Torre today, is there an absentee ballot? And there is a process by which, if you're not going to be at your home when the ballots are mailed and received, you can have them sent to a different address, but there's really no absentee ballot. And so again, these are mail-in ballots that are going out. A couple of other things that came up. We talked a bit about the canvas. Joe and David answered questions about the actual process. And so it was a good meeting. Moving forward, in preparation for the meeting, I was curious to find out what the return rate or the return rate of the voter registration card mailings were. And it is less, it's 1.9% is what came back. 8 to 10% is considered kind of usual. In the last election, the presidential election for the city of Annapolis, the address return rate was 6%. And so we're really doing pretty well with keeping those addresses clean. Quite a number of them were had forwarding addresses, and they were forwarded to the new people. So they are getting updated information about address changes every 2 weeks and updating this list. So I was very pleased that of the almost 27,000 voter registration cards that went out a couple of weeks ago, that we had less than 2% of a return rate. Any questions about the work session? Regina?
I just wanted to tell you did an excellent job. It was very interesting, and you did an excellent job. So thank you so much.
Right. And realizing change it can be difficult and challenging. And I think everybody's heart is that we want elections to be accessible. We want them to be safe. We want them to be secure. And we also want more people to vote. So encouraging all of the public and everybody watching tonight, all of the councilmen, everybody, to make sure addresses are up to date. If you're not registered, get registered, and become engaged. And I think that the communication plan that we're working on is going to also help. The mayor did mention about the social media posts in the recent video that got some real positive feedback. Regina?
You might want to let everybody know that if they want to view the work session to see what type of questions the council asked and the city and the county provided, they can go to the city website to view it.
Right. So it was a good meeting. Any questions? Anything else?
The only thing I wanted to mention is, and just kind of related to it, is if we could get that that document of the voter return rates and stuff. I think keep getting that from them. I think that'd be really good. I'd like to keep my eye on how those numbers pan out over the next month or so, like leading up to the primary.
Okay. All right. We can keep an eye on that. Next order of business is election update. Many thanks to Ashley Leonard that the memorandum of understanding between the Anne Arundel County Board of Elections and the City of Annapolis regarding the City of Annapolis 2021 primary and general elections has been signed.
Good job, Ashley.
So it took a little longer this year to get it signed, but it's a good agreement and we've been working all along. So fortunately, we haven't lost time on it. Any comments you want to make about it, Ashley?
Nope, I'm glad it's done and it got signed, and I think we improve it every election we go through.
Right, I agree. Okay, I just want to put in updates on the election calendar review. Susan, I know you sent us out our dates of note, which is very helpful to let us know when we need to be up at the State Board of Elections. Did you need us to go through any of it this evening or just want us to look at it?
No, not unless you have any questions about anything on there. I know that you were interested in talking with somebody at the county about maybe combining some of those visits to the county. And I don't know if you've done that or.
I'll have to look at it again, but I think you had mentioned that they really were two different things.
Yeah.
So, and most of these public demonstrations of like the voting system, the supply bag verification, these are open to the public.
Right.
In the past two elections, or the past elections I've been involved with, we haven't had the public come, but they certainly are welcome to come. And it is actually quite interesting to see not necessarily how the processes are run, but how the polling equipment is organized. And I mean, I think they have everything in there except breath mints. And they might even have that. They probably have smelling salts or something. But anybody that is watching this evening, you're welcome to find these dates. They're in the election calendar, which is posted on the city website underneath the board and underneath the elections information. So there'll be one coming up. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, it's there and we will be there. And then the candidate handbook update. I had put that, on the agenda just to kind of, I know we've needed to start adding some updates and just was wondering, Susan, where you are with that. And is there anything we need to be doing to assist you?
I'm working on it. Nothing that you really need to do for me at this point. It's taking the recently passed legislation and getting that put into the handbook, making some corrections, adding a few things that have sort of come up that we realized would be helpful. So it's a work in progress. And also the election calendar, which is separate, but also an addendum to the candidates handbook. That's being updated because now we have new dates as far as the canvas goes. And a couple of other, there were some minor tweaking of dates to nothing major, but I'm working on that as well.
Okay, that's great.
Correction stuff.
Great. Kind of an aside to that, we did receive this week late last week, the election judge's manual, which I did have a chance to review. I did have a number of questions that I sent into the State Board of Elections, and sure enough, everything I was asking about was just somewhere in the manual, and I either just missed it or skimmed it or whatever. But it is a very complete manual, and I think I sent that out to you all to take a look at. So that's ready to go, very thorough. I know today in the work session, Alderwoman Pindell Charles is always likes to know the backup plans. And so Joe Torrey was kind enough to give me copies of it and I was able to give them to her. So I think we're in a good shape. Any update on the physical city elections office? Regina?
Okay, we talked with Mr. Lyles, and it was decided that we were going to have the county election staff seated in the office where Susan currently is. Susan will be moving out to the service window, and we will be contacting the fire marshal to come down to see if we can put the library stalls in the hallway in the entrances where the windows are in our office, across from the finance office. If they fit in there, we're going to see if we can put those in the hallway to use those as the privacy booths for people filling out information when they come into our office.
Okay. And what about the storage of election
The
materials?
storage of election materials will be in the office. Some of the things, when the county is actually in the office, will be in the office where Susan currently sits. And the boxes for election supplies on the night before elections will be stored in the office where Takia currently sits and will be locked.
Okay. All right. So you've got that all figured out.
Yes. So I sent an email to the fire marshal to see if we could measure everything and to see if that plan would work. And if we have to change it, we'll make sure we inform everyone.
Okay. I think the only other question I have as far as election update is, do we have a date yet when we're going to go out and look for placement of the drop boxes?
Well, Brian Packlin and Daniel Altman. Daniel's on vacation this week. He'll be back next week. Brian is available next week, and once he comes back on Monday, he's going to contact Brian. We're going to try to set up a time and contact you to see your availability. Yeah. Yeah, and we also have, I forgot the gentleman's name. He came back. He was contracted, and he's back. Ricky Truitt.
Okay.
He does the city cameras, so he will be also attending the meeting with us.
Okay, because the drop boxes will be placed 30 days before the primary.
August the 20th. Yes.
Yeah, so we're actually even a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then they will stay up until the day after.
After the general. Yes.
And then another thing, just for public notice, is that the County Board of Elections is anticipating, or at least has slated, August 30th to be the day they're going to mail out ballots for the primary.
Mm-hmm.
And then October 8th will be the date for the general election. And I do know that Alderman Savage and Alderwoman Pindell Charles had asked me about that. And I did send them an email letting them know that. And I did bring it up at the work session today.
And we also notified Mitchell of that date so she can incorporate it with some of the materials that she sends out related to elections.
Right. Along with that is the frequently asked questions sheet, which just had another edit after coming back from the County State Board of Elections. So we can take a look at that again and see if we need to format it a little bit differently. Clarified a few things, which I thought was good. Added a little bit more verbiage. I was trying to keep it to just a couple of pages, but I did distribute that at the work session today. And I think that was helpful for the candidates. Is Mitchell in town or is she on vacation?
She is in town.
Oh, she is.
She was on vacation last week.
Okay, so I might give her a call then.
Okay.
Great. Any other items for the election update? Nope. Okay. Legislation update. So ordinance 1521, which is the independent expenditures report. I believe that was passed last month, right? And then ordinance 1821, which is the canvassing for the municipal elections, that was passed this past Monday.
That is correct.
Right. And like I said, we did have some questions with the at the work session trying to understand. And again, I went through this too. I wasn't equating canvassing with counting. And since the city code mandates that we can't begin counting or opening ballots until the day after the election, we need to move that canvass process up so that we can get it done. And Joe Torre did talk about they can do 10,000 ballots in a day. So hopefully we'll get them all done that Wednesday. If not, we'll go into Thursday. And then of course we'll reconvene the Tuesday after to pick up all of those that were postmarked by Election Day, but delivered in time. Future meetings is the next agenda item. I believe we need to decide, we just need to decide, are we going to meet in person or virtually in August and September? I don't even know if it's an option for August, but do any of you, do you have a preference, Brianna?
I'm fine with going back to in-person in August. I err on the side of virtual since I know normally we don't have an August meeting, and if and so to have it already at least be to not have to worry about reservations and stuff, we can just have it be virtual for August in the event it's canceled. There's less logistics. But other than that, I mean, I'm fine going back.
Okay. I think that sounds good. Regina, Susan, Ashley, your thoughts?
That's fine with me. You can have a virtual meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I thought I saw in some memo, maybe it was from David Gerald, that boards and commissions would be continuing to meet virtually until September.
Right. But I also needed to let
Works for me.
Hillary know even about August. So we are slated to have it. I always like to have it scheduled and then we can cancel it. It's easier to do it that way than to try to fit it in.
Mhm. Can I give you a little bit of an update on the 26th? The 26th, Monday the 26th is the last day to certify to run as a candidate for mayor or alderperson.
Right.
And Susan and Cynthia Gaines will be in the office that day because it is a city council day for us.
Okay.
So myself and Takia will be upstairs and you guys will be holding a meeting, which you will start at 7 o'clock and you'll just have to hang around until 9 o'clock to certify the candidates to come into the office.
Okay. But we're going to be able to do that virtually, correct?
Yes, it will be a virtual meeting, but we need you guys to kind of hang out. I know you're going to be a little bored, but we have to get it done that night.
Okay. So my next question for that is, how are we going to be able to verify things with the county?
Oh, we're going to call them and we're going to send the documents over. We have a person that they gave us their name that they're going to be on call for us that night until 9, and we're going to certify them, and then we're going to come to you guys and send you all the paperwork, and then you guys can vote, you know, as soon as you receive the paperwork.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Works for me.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Next item of business is campaign questions. You all have any? I know that Mr. Frankel has asked about including the bios in the mailings, and I had emailed him explaining that only official election materials are sent from the Board of Elections, and that did not include the candidate bios, which could really increase the mailing given all of the candidates. So the candidate bios are all on the city website. They're available to the public, and candidates are certainly welcome to obtain voter lists from the State Board of Elections and to mail them out and to, to do that as part of their campaigning. But the Board of Supervisors of Elections is not going to be including bios. Like I said, we have to keep it to official election materials. Any other questions that you got, Susan?
No, not that I can think of, other than what Mr. Frankel brought up today.
Okay. And I'm kind of responding to it because he had written us an email about it too, and I had responded. So any other business to bring up, or?
Nothing on my end.
We've had such long meetings the past few times. This is a short one.
I know.
Regina, do you have anything?
No, I don't. But I want to thank you for all of your assistance during the election. It's been a great help to us. So thank you so much. Thank you, Brianna.
No problem. Thank y'all.
All right. Actually, I have a quick last question. I guess if on Monday the third person is selected or the vacancy is filled, we'll need to have them on board on the 26th.
No. They will be sworn in at the city council. I mean, they will be approved by the city council on the 26th, but they will not be sworn in on the 26th. You can't meet with the committee until you're sworn by the mayor.
Gotcha. So that won't be till what, September?
No, he can be done on the 27th, the next day, but it won't happen at the city council meeting.
Gotcha. Okay. But I want to make sure that that person is going to be aware to be available. Well, it's that Monday night, so it'll just be Brianna and I. Okay, and that's cool. So we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get them. We'll notify you when the mayor sets the appointment to swear them in.
Okay, great. And I think that's it. How did I do, Brianna? Brianna's traveling, so she's in transit. All right.
All right. Have Zoom on phone. We'll be at meetings.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn at what is 19:36?